Hey, what's going on, guys? Andrew here, back at you with another video, and this is day 20 for the 31 days of Halloween. So, as I said yesterday, I said that I was going to review Halloween Resurrection. I watched it last night, and that's the first time I watched it in years. And so, yeah, I guess just to show this for my video. I'll pop it in here so it's in, so the main screen is in on the background or whatever. But yeah, so this movie for me is a The Exorcist is on AMC. I think I'm kind of I've seen it, like, watched it twice since I've had had the opportunity to in Halloween, so I'm okay with not seeing it right now. But anyhow, if you haven't seen the movie, it basically starts off with, and I'm going to spoil it for you because I don't believe you should watch this movie, so I'm going to spoil the beginning for you. It's basically Jamie Lee Curtis from H2O. It's kind of a sequel to, it's kind of a sequel to H2O in the sense of, like, it takes place after H2O in the same universe as H2O. Now, for this one, Jamie Lee Curtis wakes up in a mental institution. We learn that she killed the wrong person, and Michael then comes for her and kills her. And then it goes and does not ever mention her again in the rest of the movie. But it goes to these teenagers. They're actually in college. They're like 20-somethings. They're investigating the Myers house for this reality TV show called Dangertainment. Who the head is played by Busta Rhymes, and the other head is, the female, is played by Tyra Banks. So that's also a whatever. Nothing. Yeah, these are all the characters here pretty much from the movie. You might see some scenes of Jamie Lee Curtis here. But I gotta tell you, I was just furious watching this movie. I really wish it was not in existence, and in fact, after this review, I'm just going to pretend that it's not in existence anymore. Yeah, this is just all around, like, I hated this movie. There are some positives, which I will get to at the end. I will explain some positives that I took away from this movie at the end. But for this review, like, I do like the opening shot. The opening shot is very, very reminiscent of Halloween 2. It's this long corridored shot, and it floats into the room of Jamie Lee Curtis. That actually is in one shot too, and it turns around to the door. I really like that shot. It's a really, really good shot. Very, very reminiscent of Halloween 2. Now, as for the story, it makes no sense for one purpose. Just for the Jamie Lee Curtis part. First off, the guy's larynx was crushed. That's what they say in the movie. Your larynx is how you breathe. So how do you... That's just completely illogical. Secondly, not only at the end of the movie, the guy acts exactly like Michael Myers in the whole rest of the movie. So this movie explains that Michael Myers escapes. But, like, it makes no sense because the guy moves and acts like not a human being, but he moves and acts like Michael Myers from H2O. I mean, even with the whole sitting up after he gets run over, and he gets run over and it's still okay. I mean, this is like, the logic of this makes no sense. Now, I even have read that the producers the whole time making H2O actually had that in mind when they were making it. But that makes no logical sense because all the movements and everything were different, or were the exact same. They were no different. They should have made them different. And it just, everything about the logic of that makes no sense. Also, why is she in a psychiatric ward for that? Is it because of her? Like, she wanted to be in it? Because, like, the fact that somebody was coming after her, trying to murder her, and she murdered the person that just so happened to maybe switch out or whatever, I feel like you should be acquitted of those charges. Any charges brought up against you or anything like that. I feel like that should be okay at that point. Like, somebody was actually trying to murder you, and everybody knew it, you know? So this wasn't a, you know, this was completely acting in self-defense. It makes no sense. And to kill her off and to never mention her again in the rest of the movie, not even a side comment of how she was murdered, is an atrocity. I mean, like, this is like the person who was between her, Donald Pleasance, and Danielle Harris's Jamie Lloyd character. I mean, let's just take away Jamie Lloyd's character because she's not a part of the other movies. You know, Donald of this H2O and Resurrection. Like, let's just go to the other two characters are so important for the series. They don't even mention Donald Pleasance in this movie either. Donald Pleasance was mentioned in H2O, which is why it's like such an incredible conclusion to the series. So, with that being said, this movie really has no suspense whatsoever. There is no build-up. There's no creepy imagery. Nothing like that. There's no atmosphere in this movie whatsoever. There's a couple scenes where there could have been, and there kind of was, and then they just ruin it. There's a lot of jump scares in this movie, a lot of false scares, which honestly I don't mind because H2O has a lot of false scares. But they're kind of annoying when they happen. There's two that happen in a matter of like 3 minutes in the movie. I'm not even kidding. Also, the one, it's just, the entire thing is just, there's a basement. There's like there's like tunnels like in Halloween 6 in this basement. Well, actually, if you've seen the producer's cut, I don't think it's actually in the producer's cut. I think the tunnel was only in, I can't remember anymore. I'll be reviewing those here in a couple weeks, but the mask looks almost similar like H2O's like good mask, not the CGI mask or whatever. I do like the mask. Yeah, honestly, all the characters I found to be incredibly annoying. Jamie Lee Curtis's character is a complete waste of time. I'm so furious that like she's in it for 15 minutes and and all the other characters. Honestly, I like the guy here who is from A Bronx Tale. He's actually kind of funny in the movie. Other than that, you know, that character right there, she's kind of funny and she's kind of entertaining as well. But like, none of the deaths are really good. Like. Like, and none of them are suspenseful, you know, the guy, there's one jump scare kill, which was kind of cool, you know, he comes through the glass and stabs the guy, but almost all the killings are sliced throats, stabs, and I'm okay with that because H2O, I would be okay with that because H2O was kind of like that too. However, when you look at like, when you look at the fact that H2O had like really good atmosphere to it, build up to those deaths, that's what makes them okay, because they're really suspenseful. This one has no suspense, it has no build up to the kills. And the most pitiful scene in the entire movie is where Busta Rhymes is in that Michael Myers suit and he turns around and just cusses Michael out and he just turns around and walks away. That scene is the epitome of this movie. Like, it is nothing like a Halloween movie. It really doesn't even have that much of a feel of Halloween to it. That's the thing, is like I couldn't even watch it as a Halloween movie, as like a terrible Halloween movie, because it doesn't really have that much of a Halloween feel other than it's Michael Myers. Like, that's the only thing that makes it a Halloween movie. Now, I think I've gotten in the way of all of my rant of this movie. Any of the positive takeaways, you know, some of this movie, I think, some of the movie I think was a gimmick, but it was a kind of a cool gimmick. Like, for example, like using him texting her, like where he's at, so like you know, you're not like on the. That's a really cool way to use a technology. Also, I do kind of enjoy the gimmick of the whole like it. There's also some scenes that are like very entirely Blair Witch in this movie, which I thought, you know, it's a gimmick, but I honestly kind of enjoy, you know, I kind of thought that aspect could work. They didn't really utilize it in this movie the way that it could have been, but as a concept, it would work. I think that it would be a cool way to do a slasher film. But as it is, this is a terrible movie. You've seen my channel. I tend to give movies benefit of the doubt. But this movie, all in all, is a very frustrating movie and is not worth seeing, not worth watching as a part of the Halloween series, in my opinion. I give it a 1 out of 10. And I give it a 1 out of 10 for it's got some pretty cool camera work in it. There's some camera work that's pretty atrocious, but for the most part, I do think the camera work in this movie is pretty good. And that's about it. And the concept of the thing is good. That's why I'm not giving it a 0. It's got some merit to the filmmaking technique, but all in all, I think we can understand why. And I haven't touched on this. Rick Rosenthal made what's tied for my #1 movie, which was Halloween 2. He made the Halloween 2 and Halloween Resurrection. Which you'd think if he made Halloween 2, he'd be able to do Halloween Resurrection. But this was, one, a studio film, and also Rick Rosenthal not having the original people do it. Mustafa Akkad was a part of the original crew as well. But he's one who, let's not forget, he also gave us the Halloween 6 theatrical cut as well. So that's also a part of the bullshit of Mustafa Akkad. But John Carpenter, Deborah Hill, and Dino Laurentiis or Laurentis, I can't remember right now the company who funded the movie. They also had a big say in what the individual scenes were shot and how they were shot. John Carpenter went back and reshot some of the scenes. So like, but honestly, as watching the television cut of Halloween 2, I actually really think Rick Rosenthal did a good job, but I think that it was because he was working in so close contact with the original creators that they really wanted a feel of the first Halloween in the second one, which they did, in my opinion, do for the most part, a very good job at. Also, there's some breathing in this movie, like you can hear Michael breathing. It's not really used very well, but Michael breathes, so I guess that's something. I just think that Rick Rosenthal didn't have anybody who was a part of the original that was, you know, that he could like have good filmmaking with. I mean, it was fairly well directed, but it's all in all an abysmal storyline, terribly written, and just an all-around frustrating part of the Halloween series. Now, I know this video should have been like 2 minutes long, and I should have just said it's shit, but I really wanted to get into the specifics of why I think this movie is just abysmal, and I will not watch this. Honestly, the only other time I would be interested in listening to the commentary on this. I don't really want to watch it again with the commentary. I just want to put the commentary on and listen to it as I'm doing something else. I just kind of I'm curious to hear the filmmaking with this movie. I just want to know what goes through their heads in the making of this movie. But anyhow, that's going to be my review. 1 out of 10. I know there are some fans of this movie, so if you disagree with me and some of you think it's okay and I'm probably being too harsh with this movie, but these are my genuine thoughts on the movie, so let me know what you think down below, and if you disagree and like some parts, again, I'm willing to listen to the people that do like this movie and think it has merit. It's your opinion, so that's completely fine. You're completely entitled to it. So this is just my opinion. So as always, feel free to like and comment on it. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And yeah, my video for tomorrow is actually going to be Halloween 3, and I'm reviewing that also as separate from the series, not because I don't consider it a part of the series. You saw my review, my countdown of Halloween. We count it, but it's also one without Michael Myers, so I do kind of want to get that one out of the way. Although I personally really like the movies, but so you'll get my feelings on that tomorrow. So thanks guys for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Have a good day, and I will see you tomorrow with Halloween 3.